my name is Maria Lucia Diaz. This is Tommy Ibanez, and we created a STEAM lesson. We are going to talk about the importance of interdisciplinary lessons for student learning.
And so our objectives for today is really just defining STEAM. What are STEAM lessons and what is interdisciplinary collaboration, as well as talk about the benefits of these two different practices, the challenges that people face when they implement these. And finally, we're going to look at a case study where we created a STEAM lesson, as well as doing some interdisciplinary collaboration, focusing on paleo artists and the importance of index fossils.
So, STEAM lessons are a holistic learning process of creating knowledge with an emphasis on design-based learning. The importance of teaching arts and science together is that it moves the focus away from accumulating singular knowledge of just one subject area into an evolutionary thinking of our now globalized world. Students engage more creatively, they use their imagination, and they think out of the box. Cognitive abilities and critical thinking are fostered through these lessons, and interdisciplinary lessons also develop 21st century skills such as collaboration, self reflection, creativity, among others.
And so with interdisciplinary collaboration, what this really helps with is develop lessons with your colleagues from other subjects. They really extend learning beyond your classroom. And when you're working with other teachers, it fosters school culture, creates that collaborative community, and it really exposes teachers to various learning strategies. We also see that when you're working in groups, it helps just create those creative solutions, because we do see from research that working in groups definitely creates more creativity than working individually.
So, some of the challenges with developing STEAM lessons is the time and the pacing of the lesson, because the understanding of the interdisciplinary content in different students and their ability to process that information varies. The integration of technology, same thing happens. Assessment is another one where some students are used to traditional assessments, but some are not. And STEAM lessons are usually not assessed traditionally. Lack of disciplinary knowledge for a teacher. It's very hard for us to know science, technology, engineering, art, and math for just one lesson. Students' understanding of content, their scaffolding varies, and the preparation of lessons between teachers is time consuming, and there's scheduling difficulties.
And so the challenges with interdisciplinary collaboration is that it does require incorporating multiple disciplines into these real world problems. And that can be really challenging, and you have these different disciplines and different teachers' strategies. It does require a lot of time for professional development and lesson planning. And this need for developing common language, common practices, which ultimately leads into developing professional learning communities.
Okay, so the students were introduced to the career of Paleo Art, which was very cool to give them the responsibility of being paleo artists for Tommy's class. They were prompted to create facsimiles of index fossils from various time periods. They also learned about fossils and the importance of index fossils and why it's important to recreate them. They watched the video where they learned how to create these fossils. So the images below can show us the different stages. First, they use modeling clay to create the actual shape of the fossil that they chose in a timeline. After they are done with molding the details of the fossil into the clay, they wrap a cardboard tube around the clay so that when they add the plaster, it doesn't spill. After they add the plaster, they let it sit for 24 hours, and the next class, they put apart the clay from the plaster, and ta-da, the fossil is there.
Yeah, so then we would get those clay balls in the classroom. We would start off with figuring out what are fossils, since they are introduced to this. And then they would see the different ways fossils are created. And then we get into what index fossils are. We would then, I would then give the students these different index fossils, or these little clay balls. and then they would be given a chart or access to a chart where they can actually compare what these fossils are going to find. And then they have to create a claim evidence reasoning where they have to explain and use the evidence that they have, like to figure out which fossils inside, which species do they think it is, and then use that qualitative data. This then gets backed up with a game called Layers of Time, where students then have to kind of move around these different index fossils and try to figure out what's the oldest rock to what's the newest rock. So in terms of findings, I know that doing this type of interdisciplinary work with Malu, it was like a very different kind of engagement for her students, because our students really got to see that their work was used beyond the classroom. It was a very authentic lesson because they had to work as paleo artists and know that their work was being utilized and that there was a purpose for it. So I thought that was really great.
And some of the 21st century skills that they used were collaboration, social influence, flexibility, initiative, creative thinking, and multidisciplinary thinking.
Get a lot of different references, so you can see all of that in the provided information. So thanks so much for listening today. Take care and have a good one.
Thank you.
Ciao.